All right, hello again, everybody, and good morning. So, yes, Russ is here with yet another one today, because I just came across, I saw, where's the internet's community tab, when I, woke up earlier, so WOTI has shared something very interesting in regards to the interview that on the goddamn podcast, right, that was done with Will, who is Shanny's son, and WOTI had some things to say about that, and not only about the interview, but also about Hecate and some other stuff. So this is Monograph. I have never heard of Monograph before. Let's see what it is that WOTI had to say, though, about that interview. I wanted to take a few days to actually gather my thoughts on everything that happened with the interview with Shanny's son, Will. The entire event that happened on Sunday was extremely triggering for me, and I wanted to distract myself for a few days. Ironically, those Shanny stream snipes did give me some space to think about it. Most of the people who actually watch me know what I've said, and that really hasn't changed. The difference is that I wanted to wait before making any brash decisions. If I run out and immediately explode about everything, I'd probably be doing 3-day live streams calling everyone the P word and groomers too. First interview. On September 5th, I was stream sniping Shanny and the topic of interviewing Will came up. According to my chat, Will had gone over to BGTV's chat to ask to do an interview and he had said no. My take was that nobody should be doing this interview because any way that you do it would be viewed as exploitative. I had also made a joke. The only one that would be dumb enough to do it would be Draven. I also stated that if an interview was to be done, then the only proper way to do it would be to let Will say his piece. Don't ask him any questions and then give him proper resources to help him on his way. A GoFundMe or posting his Cash App would be fine enough, but the truth is what you don't want is to turn him into Beck and condition him to start coming to the community tab every time he needs money. As I was signing off, people in my chat started telling me that Will was on TJ's stream with him and Carrie. I made a deliberate point of not rating the stream because I felt like I didn't agree with it happening, and I said I probably wouldn't cover it after either. The first interview went well enough, I suppose. Carrie and Will seemed to have a good dynamic, but TJ was clearly very drunk and kept interrupting Will repeatedly and making sexually inappropriate comments about both Will and his mom. What I also didn't like was that I felt that a lot of the questions being asked by Carrie were things like, did this happen? Or tell me about this incident, which, while well-meaning, can be extremely destructive. You can't talk to a victim about their abuse and then use leading questions to steer the conversation. It comes off as exploitative. The only good news is that despite all of this, Will seemed comfortable and happy enough with giving his side of things, and there wasn't a ton of pushback on the interview other than people feeling that TJ fumbled the whole thing. I didn't like it, but I wanted to pause before making any brash statements about it. Second interview. On Sunday, September 7th, Hecate went live and decided to review the interview. I was not in any way surprised by her reaction to it. Hecate regularly uses terms like trafficking and grooming with very loose definitions that are valid, but I've explained to her many times that she's trying to use these terms on people who are too stupid to understand what she means, and then she gets too impatient to explain it to them. So I knew her take, among many, would be, this is child exploitation, which I only partially agree with. It's exploitative, but Will is 18, and while that may be young to all the middle-aged adults in this community, you cannot continue to infantilize people until they are 30. It's simply not fair to look at a child who's been abused and pushed around their entire life and tell them, sorry, I know you're 18, but you're still a child, so your POV doesn't matter for another 5 years. No, they shouldn't have done that interview, but that doesn't mean you get to silence a victim because you've personally decided they aren't mature enough to do so. Despite me saying multiple times that I didn't agree with the interview taking place, Hecate repeatedly kept throwing my name into the conversation with comments like, sorry, WOTI. Sorry, Woti, and your only good friend is Woti, referring to Carrie. And I repeatedly told Hikari to stop saying that as if I endorse every little thing Carrie does. At some point during the middle of her reaction, someone says that they scheduled to do a second interview. I immediately messaged both Carrie and Calypso, TJ's girlfriend, and told them not to do a second interview and that it was a bad idea. Both insisted it was Will's idea, and I think both were under the impression that I was saying this because of Hikari's statements. I was saying it because I didn't want them to make the situation any worse than it already was. You actively choose to harm your reputation when you can't sift through criticism and actually apply any of it. When I realized I wasn't going to be able to stop the interview, I gave both of them some suggestions. What is this? Let's see. Okay, turn off alerts. Do not ask him any questions. Let him speak fully uninterrupted. Don't bring up money. Tell him that watching content that trashes his mother is probably not good for his mental health and that he needs to live a successful life outside of this. Otherwise, he will turn into his mother. For anyone who watched the two interviews, that the best I got out of this was the final. I don't feel comfortable watching this. Not another shred of this advice was taken seriously. If the first interview was bad, the second was an absolute shit show. TJ was clearly drunk again, began interrupting even more than the last time, and at one point yells at Zach, Shanny's younger son, for spamming in his chat. He then says, "Don't make me pull a Jason on you," referring to the child's abuse. As it continues to go on, TJ keeps whining about being silenced, and the podcast eventually ends because TJ makes a comment stating that Carrie is into 18-year-olds. During the entire thing, Hikari was spamming the chat about child exploitation and trying to derail the stream. If I wasn't going to stop it by having a conversation with them, what makes her think that derailing is going to do anything after she had just spent the past 2 hours calling TJ and Carrie groomers? My decision? I chose to go ahead and block Hikari, Carrie, and TJ from my chats, and I'd appreciate it if everyone would simply respect my decision and allow me to move on. I didn't have the most amazing childhood, and this entire incident has been extremely triggering for me. If you can't respect that I needed time to process things, then maybe stop pretending to care about people. I do, however, want to share some important notes to take into consideration. Hikari has crossed the line for me. She's well aware that I don't take the P word or groomer accusations lightly, and that is a hard line drawn in the sand for me. She's going to pontificate about how she never called me the P word, but let's not pretend like we don't know what she's trying to say with rhetoric like this. Okay, Hikari says, "Nope, I don't respect anyone who doesn't immediately stand up and do or say something. You're like that uncle who saw the door closed all the time and then says they didn't know. You're pissing me the fuck off. You either save kids or you don't." I suppose her problem is that I didn't immediately go live and start screaming and crying about all this because I needed personal time to process my thoughts on everything. Azria has progressively lost her mind since the Zoom incident because she keeps spamming and raging at people they continue to attack back. Azria asks most of us to not tell her what they say about her on Kiwi Farms, but as things progress, they have proceeded to dox her and nearly every member of her family. It's gotten to the point where nearly every page has a giant tweet or community post from her followed by pictures of her daughter. I also don't approve of this, and I've been fully in favor of her going after people that are posting her daughter publicly. However, the approach she is taking is not working and not de-escalating the situation at all. I am genuinely concerned for her own well-being unless she changes course. TJ, I think a duck with syphilis could see what the issue was here. TJ is an alcoholic, whether he realizes it or not. TJ had a health event earlier this year where he almost died. Once he came back to streaming, he came back angry and aggressive, and he has been escalating for months now. He needs to log off for a very long time, but before he does, he needs to make sure every penny of Super Chats, PayPal, and ad revenue, and then some, goes directly to Will. Would be even better if Will split it and put it into 401ks for him and his brother, but again, Will is an adult and it's his choice ultimately. Carrie. Carrie is a slightly different situation. I fully believe she tried her best, but I was actually shocked to hear her go up on Hussey's panel and say that she wished she had put her foot down and not done the first interview at all. If that was the case, why not put your foot down on the second interview? Why didn't the interview end after TJ made the pull a Jason on you comment? As much as I think she cares about those kids, optics matter, and the interview only ended after TJ had insulted her enough. Interview aside, I'm under no confusion that Carrie is stalked and harassed by people who have put out bad and misleading information on her. Despite this, she will continue to platform the same A-logs that she already knows are acting in bad faith, like 21 or Ansja. One of her A-logs will make a video, Carrie responds, and then they make fun of her for even responding. I've genuinely tried to help Carrie with redirecting her content or making small concessions to be able to move along, but she, for whatever reason, cannot seem to take any advice on this. Here's one example. Some of Carrie's A-logs regularly complain that she has a Discord channel dedicated to calling us the P word. The full context is there's a channel in the Discord called Dynamic Diddlers where nobody had posted in that chat for over a year. I had suggested to Carrie that she delete it since it was a dead channel anyway. She said she did, but apparently what happened was she decided to hide the channel from me and it would eventually pop up in Discord for me a couple months later with new messages. I still cannot wrap my head around why keeping one dead Discord channel is more important to her than her own mental health. And this is really only one example. She repeatedly engages in self-destructive behavior, and every attempt I've made to giving her real help has been left unread. Final thoughts. With all three of these people, I personally hit my limit. I've wasted a lot of time and energy trying to help people who are simply incapable of helping themselves and let my own content suffer as a result. I genuinely hope that they all seek some kind of proper help and are willing to make a change for the better. With that being said, I don't run an A-log channel. Despite my falling out with Hussy, I don't have Hussy A-logs in my chat. Why? Because I don't cover Hussy. I have no intention on covering Azria's 3-day stream about me or anything else further about this situation. I just don't operate this way. I'm not wasting my time on a back and forth with them. If you're coming to my channel for a unique perspective on whatever I'm covering, you're more than welcome. If you're just coming in to trash someone because I fell out with them, then my channel isn't suited for you. Finally, these two statements can be true at the same time. Nobody should have given Will a platform, and Will is an adult and should be able to speak his mind. As many others suggested, the best idea would have been for him to do a video for people to react to. He could have left it unlisted and sent the link or just sent an audio recording to someone's email. I think that simple separation would have appeased most people. Again, I cannot emphasize how much I disagree with the interview taking place in the first place. However, the only person I'm concerned about in this situation is Will, and his POV matters. Whether he was being exploited or not isn't an opinion that you can force on him. From his vantage point, he thought he was going up there to tell his story. I didn't see grooming or child exploitation. All I saw was 3 egotistical adults silencing a victim. Wow, that was something. So yeah, I will leave a link to that. Anybody that hasn't read that yet and would like to read it for yourselves, I never heard of that website before until WOTI put that out there. So thank you for that, WOTI. And have another great rest of your day, folks. I'll see you later.